All right, so this is my new Miser rod. I'm just gonna test it and get it ready for my next trip to Pyramid. So right now I'm overloading the heck out of it, and I'm gonna throw this 500, or actually this is a 625 grain line, just to see what this looks like. Let's see here. There we go. Okay. Now definitely casts super weird without the indicator set up on it, but not too bad. That 600 grain, it's casting it. Definitely a different stroke than the other thing. But not too bad at all. Okay. I'll do one more. I'm going to cast this one with the wind just to see. Woo, yeah, that flies when I'm casting with the wind. Okay, so that is with technically the 8-weight version of that line. This is the Scientific Anglers integrated switch line. So this rod is, what does this end up being? 7, 8. So this ended up being 12 feet. And the grain window is 500 to 800 grains. So, I mean, it's an insane grain window on this thing. However, since the style of casting I'm going to primarily use this for, being Pyramid Lake, is off the tip, I'm going to try to stay on the lower mid end of the grain window. So far, this is a very unique rod. And the crazy thing is it's pretty heavy, but it feels light in the hand. It's just so well balanced. And that's honestly what you get when you grab a rod from somebody who specializes in them. So I'm going to switch this out to my 7-weight version of the line. It's also my Hardy reel, which I'm most excited to see. And let's see how that pairs. Okay, so now we have the 584 grain line. And this is actually the line that I had anticipated casting on this rod. And this was the one that I actually asked Miser to base the rod on. So the last one was the same line, but in the 625 grains. So it's seriously a heavy, heavy line, which I really only use on, I have a 12'9", 8/9 weight that I use for those truly heinous windy days. But this, I wanted a rod that was just pleasure to cast and just lovely all the way around. So I'm really excited about this. Let's see how this goes. Like I said, this is the line that I had anticipated casting on this. It's also paired with my Hardy, and honestly, just want to point out, the wind is making this a lot harder than it should be, but that is a gorgeous balance. That's freaking perfect to what I want on this Hardy reel. So far I'm so stoked that this is a perfect balance. So here we go. Let's see how this goes. And again, my casting, I'm just doing a switch style cast. I'm not actually spey casting. Switch casting is what I'm going to do 90% of the time at Pyramid. And it's not going to be super clean because I don't have the indicator rig on the end of it. This is a very clunky line. And I find that the indicator rig actually really cleans up how this thing casts. It just anchors a little better. So it's going to be a slight bit whippy, but that's not what I'm worried about. I just want to see how the rod reacts. I felt like with that 620 plus grain line, I got to confirm the number, the rod handled it and was casting it. Like I was casting 60 feet without a whole ton of effort. But it kind of, I don't want to say the rod buckled, but you could just feel that it was a lot coming off the tip. So let's see what this does. Work this out, and we'll go from there. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Okay. Now we're playing a game now. Ooh, that's clean. That's clean. Now, I can't change this video out. This is like super spur of the moment. I just got this today. I showed up 2 minutes after the UPS guy, so I just had to come and try it. Now, what I'm noticing already is this rod feels like a lighter action rod, but it's not. Like, this is a pretty fast action stick in the grand scheme of things. This is Miser's progressive taper, so it does have quite a bit of tip energy, and that is shining through here. Oh my goodness. That's exactly what I wanted to feel. On my switch cast, and I'm going to check these videos and see what the flex looks like, but on these switch casts, I feel 90% of that energy up in the tip, and then I get a nice moment of just flex right in close to the cork, and it just feels clean. That tip isn't wavering on me, so that's telling me that this is a much better grain matchup. That, like I said, it was casting that 600 grain, but it just wavered a little bit. It's just a ballsy line. This is feeling a lot better. So even though that grain window is massive on this stick, you know, that's kind of built around space style casting. When I'm using the whole rod in a space style cast, I could go much higher in the grain windows, but since I'm casting right off the tip, it's going to be a little bit different. Now, right here I'm casting cack-handed because honestly, I just wanted a place to cast. This will get a true test when I go out to Pyramid, but that wind is hitting me right on my right shoulder. But I'm going to angle myself down this way, and I'll do the cast with the wind, kind of a more proper switch cast, just to see what it does. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Very misleading casting this stick. I've been using Hardys, and with those Hardys, I really feel like I have to give it a pretty hard low bottom hand to really access this part of the rod. I'm not fighting this rod the same way. This rod is naturally flexing down deeper, so I'm finding I have to put a little less effort, and I'm actually getting a cleaner cast with a little less effort than I am when I'm really trying to gun it. So I'm just getting to know this literally first impressions of this rod. So there we go. And I mean, I didn't have very much left in my hands there. That's about almost a 70-foot cast I just made, and that's no build-up momentum. That's just a straight switch cast. And granted, I am now casting with the wind, so that's helping too. Oh yeah, there it goes. There it goes. I'd still like to see what this does when I have my indicator set up completely like on there. But that, you know, that'll be another time. So I'm gonna see if I can do I'll try and do like a cack-handed cast straight into the wind here. This pond is not meant for this, but that's okay. Send it out. Okay. So it's a little bit different casting into that wind, but I can already tell this is a better matchup than my last stick was for this line. There we go. Okay. Kind of piling it up a little bit, and that's more of a me problem than a rod problem. There we go. So I find that if I actually let that cast come down just a touch more than I am, I'm getting a little bit more power and loop to push through that wind, which is good. That was pretty good. Okay. So as a whole, I'm feeling pretty good about it. I think weight-wise, stunning. Action-wise, definitely a little slower than what I've been throwing, especially for. Oh, there we go. There we go. That was a cat can. That was an actual like spay cast, and that did really well. Again, that's something I didn't really have access to with my other rod. It just wasn't doing well for that. So this is going to be interesting. Don't judge my spay casting. I don't do it often. I'm a switch caster. But even that was straight into the wind, and that cack-handed, and that was about a 55-foot cast. I'm not putting a ton of energy into it. So, all right. And I think I'm going to call that for now because I'm going to actually fish this sometime soon. But as a whole, I'm just gonna get this thing right up on the camera real quick because that is stunning. Look at that. I'm a huge fan of purple. I like the dark accents. That jungle cock is just clean. Also, this front-facing camera doesn't do it justice. I'll have to take a video like of the actual blank, but the graphite is just stunning. Nick at Miser absolutely tore it up with this build. I think the Miser company as a whole has designed a really interesting stick, and I asked for a pretty specific thing for Pyramid Lake, so as a whole I'm really pleased, and I'll be putting out a little bit more review and hopefully some fish pictures next time I take it out.